Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this afternoon? Or this evening when you're probably watching it? Who wants to guess what time it is? I saw that comment on the vlog yesterday. Somebody said, I love to guess what time it is before Peter announces it. And they were like really, really close. And then somebody responded to it underneath there and they said, I like to guess what the temperature is. Okay, so here you go. You want to guess what time it is? The time is currently... What time do you think it is? It is 4:06. It's 6 after 4, which is actually early for me on a vlog. And you guys want to guess what the temperature is? Well, you know I have a coat on, so it's colder than it was yesterday. Hold on a second. Let the Weather Channel warm up here. Okay, you guys ready? Who wants to guess what the temperature is? The temperature is 54 degrees, mostly cloudy, and feels like 51. So it is 24 degrees colder than it wasn't it like 78 yesterday when I filmed. It's 24 degrees colder today than it was yesterday, which is insane. And I have had a day already. So we got home from the vet. I'll tell you guys about that in just a second. We got home from the vet and Alex warmed up some food and he was watching the very first seasons of Gossip Girl. He just got done watching the first whole part, the 6 seasons or whatever there was of Gossip Girl, then the reboot, and we're watching Schitt's Creek together. His probably the 5th time he's seen it. And now he went back and he started watching Gossip Girl over again. I'm like, why don't you just pick a new show to watch? And he's like, no, because I love Gossip Girl. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So anyway, so he was watching Gossip Girl. And while he was watching Gossip Girl, I was going to just film my vlog today. And then I remembered I had to film my video. I feel like the camera and everything is not... Let me move the tripod a little bit. Hold on a second. My hat isn't sitting straight on my head. Everything's driving me crazy today. I don't know why. But anyway, I was like, okay, I want to film my video. I was like, I have to film my video announcing... I have to announce... No, I do really feel that way, though. I do. That I had to film my video announcing... whatever the movie was for this week. So I've changed it from Peter's Friday Night Movies or whatever to Peter's Movie Club. Somebody suggested that in the comments and I loved it. So now I have a movie club. I have 2 book clubs and a movie club. I have a movie club now. And so I did a video talking about the movie from last week, which was Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael. And then I also announced the movie for this week, which I was very excited about. I narrowed it down to 3 movies and then I picked which one I thought was I'm taking it very seriously. And then I decided which one I thought was the perfect movie for this weekend. Because it's cold and it's kind of rainy in Indiana, and so, Indianapolis, and so I was like, what movie do I want to watch tonight? And so Alex is going out to dinner with a girlfriend that he hasn't seen in a while, and their dinner's late. Their dinner's at 9 o'clock, and they'll probably go out and have a couple drinks afterwards. So I'm going to watch the movie tonight, I think. Because last night, I lay down, and I took a little bit of a nap, and then I watched Survivor, and I watched Amazing Race and got caught up with this. I'm loving it so far. It always, I already did love it, but by the time you're halfway through the season, or I'm halfway through the season, I really am hooked on the show. And so Survivor, I loved this week. Although, if you guys are watching it, Tribal Council was great. What happened? I'm so confused as to what happened at Tribal Council. On the way home, I made Alex stop at the gas station. At first I was like, can you stop and get coffee? And he was like, yeah, sure. He's like, we can stop wherever you want to stop on the way home from the vet. And so we were driving by the coffee place, and I was like, no, actually, just go to the gas station. I want a fountain pop. I haven't had a fountain pop for so long. Even when Tanya and I go places, I don't usually get a fountain pop. So I got Big Gulp. There's my thumbnail. I got a Big Gulp today. And they didn't have Diet Dr. Pepper. And I actually looked for the bottles of Dr. Pepper Zero, or whatever it's called, because people have recommended that to me, and they didn't have it in the gas station. And then they had all these things, containers in front of where the sodas were, and where you pull it out, the bottles. And so I couldn't see if I don't think they had it anyway. It was the dirtiest gas station in the entire world. But I got a fountain pop, so I got Diet Pepsi instead, because I like Diet Coke in a can, but I like Diet Pepsi in the fountain. So I got a Diet Pepsi today, and yeah. Then we got home, and Alex heated up the food, and so I filmed that, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to film some other videos because it's still real early, because I was just going to film the vlog and that today, and then I filmed a Peterisms video, and then after the Peterisms video, I was going to start filming a review video, and I thought, you know what, you filmed so many videos this week, just film your vlog, enjoy filming your vlog, and then just go take a nap, because Alex went upstairs to take a nap right now. He's like, I'm gonna lay down until like 7, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna vlog for a little bit, and then when I get done vlogging, I'm gonna come upstairs and lay down. And he was like, okay. He was like, don't wake me up when you come upstairs. I was like, I won't. So, who is this walking down the street with this cute dog? When I get done with the vlog, I'm gonna go upstairs and lay down with Alex and take a little bit of a nap, and then tonight, Boo Radley and I are gonna watch some TV and all that kind of stuff. So last night, I watched Survivor and then Amazing Race. And it started getting colder last night, and it was raining and whatever. We got a lot of rain last night, because around, I'd say 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, it started storming again like crazy. Boo Radley was terrified. I took him outside. He ran around in the rain. Got a lot of rain from my hostas, so my hostas are doing really good. I'm glad about that. But it was like storming like crazy, and it started getting cooler. And so we turned the air conditioning off, turned the heat on, and I cracked open the patio door so the air was coming in. It was so nice. And so then when I got done with that, I was like, okay, what am I going to watch now? I wasn't really in the mood to watch The Walking Dead. I'm really struggling getting through The Walking Dead. And so I had started, like the night before, that Left Behind movie, the one with Nicolas Cage. So I finished that last night, and then I looked them up to see, like, there's like 6 movies, Left Behind movies. And there's the one with Nicolas Cage, which they consider the reboot, I guess. And then there were the 3 with Kirk Cameron, which somebody asked me about in here, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And so I went back and I started watching the one with Kirk Cameron. I've never seen these before. I don't know why. I'm real into them. I don't know what it is about it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch all 3 of these. There's 3 of them. There's the next one's called like Tribulation Force or something, and then the 3rd one's called like World War. And then there's one that's all about Left Behind, but it's all from like teenagers' points of view or something. There's like 6 of them, and then the other one is I don't know. There's like 6 of them. They all are kind of like have to do with that series or something like that. But anyway, so I started watching the second one the new one last night with Kirk Cameron, and if you've watched it, I got to the point where Buck, who's the reporter played by Kirk Cameron, is leaving the pilot's house to have the daughter go take him to the guy that's going to charter the plane to New York or whatever. Which I don't think he ever goes in the plane, but if I remember I don't remember the book really that well, so I started watching it last night. Oh, by the way, before I'm going to read some comments here in a little bit and address some things that people ask me about, but I did want to say this for people that don't make it all the way through. Who left this on here? Oh, hold on a second. I don't like to mispronounce names. Oh, Janice. Janice, well, she first of all said that Amazon has Smeg dupes, which I don't know what the names of those are, so if you could maybe leave what the names of the dupes are, I would love that, to look them up. But then she said the natural weed killer, the one that Tanya is talking about, I think is what she's referencing. She said is 1 gallon of vinegar, 1 cup of salt, and 1 tablespoon of liquid Dawn. And I think that is exactly what Tanya said on the phone. I think that's exactly it. 1 gallon of vinegar, 1 cup of salt, and 1 tablespoon of liquid Dawn. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I forgot to ask Tanya. And I'm going to get to some of these comments in just a second. So yeah, so I watched half of that, and then I was like, okay, I need to go to bed because we had to leave here today at 1 o'clock to go to the vet. Alex had a meeting, like a Zoom meeting from 9 to 11, and then he went to the funeral for his coworker's dad. He went to the funeral, and then he came home and like pulled in the driveway, and then I brought Boo out, and we went to the vet today. So I didn't stay up super late last night. So we had the vet appointment today. It was just a check-in. Actually, Valerie texted me, and she was like, I hope Boo's okay. It was just a check-in. It was just like a regular check-in. We didn't take a stool sample and stuff like that. His stool sample came back completely normal, no parasites or anything like that. Everything else went well. She said his heart rate's great. Seems like he's doing great. And so we scheduled so she gives him a light sedation and then like trazodone, and then they groom him at the vet. And so we scheduled that, and they also draw blood that day because when he's a little tired, it's easier than anyway. So he loves the vet so much. She's so sweet. I love our vet. And afterwards, Boo Radley was like he's been there so much. He was like running around, and they were like laughing. They're like, he's got the zoomies, he's got the zoomies. And Boo Radley was like, zoom, 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 running around, and Alex was trying to like pick him up. He was so funny. It was so funny. And everybody was like, I can't believe he's 14 and a half. He still acts like he's like a little puppy. And I was like, I know. And so yeah. So it was a good vet appointment, great vet appointment. And then came home, and Boo Radley's been resting ever since. Then I got my fountain pup, and Alex just laid down and took a nap, and Boo Radley, he ate. Well, so they gave him some food there to try, because she was asking us about how he's eating. I was like, he eats good, but like some days he will hardly eat, and the next day he eats a ton. And so she was like, well, let me try this. And so she tried this new food. I can't remember what it was called, but she tried this new food, and he like ate it right up. And so I got like 2 cans of that to try it, and we're gonna get, Alex is gonna pick up more if he likes it this weekend. But just because he ate it there doesn't mean that he'll eat it at home. So we're gonna try a little bit of that at home and see if he likes it. We got the pate and the stew, and it's like a vet brand of it. So, but we go back and forth between like the Royal Canine that somebody suggested years ago, or a year ago or whatever, and then a couple other brands. The one I got at Fresh Time is what we have out there right now. He ate a bunch of that yesterday. I was kind of surprised. I put some on a plate and I heated it up for him, and he loved it. He ate a bunch of that. So yeah, and then tonight he and I are just going to watch some shows and some movies and hang out and just relax and stuff like that. Did I just break my straw? I hate that. Do you hate that in a fountain pop when you break your straw? Please tell me I didn't. I didn't. It's so fun drinking a fountain pop. I haven't drank a fountain pop in forever. So yeah, it was a good vet appointment, and that's about it. Read more of my graphic novel last night, and yeah. I ended up, I said this yesterday on the video, I ended up filming 7 videos yesterday, which was like crazy. And so I noticed that, like, I don't really look at like numbers and stuff that much, but I like when I'm like going through my channels, you know, to see if like the videos like are up, or I'm reading comments or whatever, I can, you know, I'll like glance at the, you know, see what they're doing or whatever. And I noticed like when I post like 7 videos on a day, like people don't view them as much as if I post like 3 or 4 videos a day. So I think I'm going to try to just do that, because I think 7 videos is probably overwhelming for people that watch several of my channels, you know. That's a lot of videos to watch. So I think I'm going to go and just try to film like 3 or 4 videos a day. Instead of like, but I get like so excited, and then I'm just like, oh my god, I want to film. Like today I could have like filmed like 2 or 3 more videos. Did somebody just text me? So yeah, and it's cold today. I can't believe it's like dropped so much. When is it supposed to get warm again? I feel like I look at the weather every single day on here. Let's look on here and see. The Weather Channel and Goodreads load so slow. Oh, tomorrow's supposed to be colder than today. It's supposed to be 52 tomorrow. Then Sunday 57, and then up in the 65, 66. And then next weekend is going to be in the 70s. Oh, 78 the 2nd, Thursday the 2nd. 77 on Wednesday, 78 on Thursday, and 77 on Friday. That's the first week of May. Well, that'll be nice, go into May that way. So yeah, it's weird to say that like I filmed 3 videos today, including the vlog, and I'm just like taking it light. But that's a light day for me to just, you know. The vlog probably, watch, I'll say this, and it'll end up being an hour and a half. No joke. The vlog probably won't be as long today. I think like Fridays, most people don't watch a lot of videos on Fridays anyway. So I think they're getting ready for the weekend and stuff like that. It was weird when we were driving to our vet today. So they have like, the office that we went to today is like a new office. And it's by where I grew up. And so it was so funny, because I was like, when we were driving there, I was like, there's where this friend that Alex knows, my friend that I went to kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school, and college, and graduate school with. She lived like, we passed her street. And then I was like, here's the elementary school that I went to, which here I knew anyway. And then I was like, I was a walker, and I was a crossing guard in 5th grade. I was telling him all this kind of, he was just laughing. He thought it was hilarious. All right, let's read some of these comments and see if that gives me something to talk about today. Let's give them something to talk about. Okay. Okay, Allie said, Pop Secret makes a caramel popcorn. I love that you said caramel, C-A-R-M-E-L. Can I just tell you that makes me so happy? I don't know if that was a grammatical error or if you did that, but can I just tell you that makes me so happy? Because in Indiana, most people don't say caramel. They say caramel. And I grew up in Carmel, Indiana, which is Carmel. And because of Carmel, California, people will say Carmel, Indiana, but it's Carmel, Indiana. And in Indiana, most people say caramel. They don't say caramel. And so I love that you spelled it Carmel. That makes me so happy. Pop Secret makes a caramel popcorn that you pop in the microwave and the caramel is already on it. It's so freaking good every night. I can't stop. That is so funny that you brought that up because, well, I've been having a lot of memories of like my mom today and stuff because the movie that I picked for Peter's Book Club is a movie that my mom loved and introduced to me when I was younger. And so I've been thinking a lot about my mom because my mom I wouldn't say that it was one of my mom's favorite movies, but she loved my mom loved like movies in like the 50s and the 60s, like the Hitchcock thrillers and stuff like that. It wasn't a Hitchcock movie that I picked, but I do have some Hitchcock movies on the list. But it's similar to that. And so I've been thinking a lot about my mom and like maybe making popcorn and stuff. I remember this caramel popcorn. I don't remember the brand of it. I don't think it was Pop Secret, but I don't remember what it was. Somebody will remember what I'm talking about because every time I tell some old story, one person out there is like, oh my God, I remember that. But it was like, you got this like rubbery caramel, like pad. It was like a pad almost, like this big. And then you got popcorn and you put the popcorn, I can't remember how you did it, but you put it on a cookie sheet after it was cooked, and then you put the caramel on there and it would like melt into the pop. Do you guys remember that? It was so bad. It never really worked that well. But I'll have to try this caramel popcorn, this Pop Secret. Okay, Alyssa said you can buy weed barrier. It's almost like a cloth material. It would probably be really helpful in your situation because of the weeds, and then the mulch would cover it. So the one you're talking about, not the plastic, but the material that's almost kind of like gauzy. I have a whole thing of it in there. I bought it a couple years ago because somebody recommended it to me, and I just never laid it because you have to cut it, and it was very, to be honest with you, it was more work, and I was going to say it was very confusing. It really wasn't confusing. It was just, honestly, because you have to, like, cut it in layers and then put the mulch over. I was like, I'm just not dealing with it. That was when I just wanted to, like, clean it up. But you're right, I could use it this year because I'm getting down on it earlier. So maybe I will do that this year. Oh, wait, she went on to say, she probably says that my neighbor so that you don't want to use that stuff because she doesn't mind picking all her weeds. I'm a pretty avid lover of gardening and plants, and I use a thicker material in my garden to keep the weeds out, and it works great. That shit can get overwhelming. Yes, it can. So she doesn't love to pick weeds. She picks weeds a lot. The thing is, like, if you watch my videos with her gardening, there's not really any place for weeds because it's all covered with, like, flowers. So, like, in the back and in the front. So her picking weeds, there really aren't a lot of, there's like, around her mailbox, what did she call it? Candy? It's this white stuff over there, there's white flowers, they're so pretty. She called them something, candy something, I was asking her. But like, she's got that, and then she's got the tulips, and then behind that she's got bushes, and then behind that she's got other stuff. So there's not really any place for weeds. So I don't think she really has a lot of weeds to pick over there. But I might go pull that out of the garage, and that's not actually a bad idea. It's not plastic. It's like gauzy. I think that's what you're talking about. Alyssa also said, I work from home and my job sucks. Oh, I'm sorry. But I really enjoy knowing I can search in my notifications to find a Peter video. It helps me get through my days and anxiety. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, I love that. And then Elise put blue hearts. Okay, Sadie's mom said that clip of you sitting in silence looking for that article cracked me up. I had already read that comment. Okay, so that was when I was talking about when I did that video on my Peter's Watches TV channel where I was looking for the article. It's so funny. Like, when I watched it back, I was like, this is literally so embarrassing. But I was like, I'm not... What is that sound? It sounded like it was coming from behind me, but it's somebody out there. Is it my neighbor? Oh, she is. She is in her yard. She's in her garden. I didn't see you because you're hidden by the tree.
Well, here I am.
I moved my chair over a little bit, so it's hard for me to see you. I was just talking about the fact that you don't have a lot of weeds over there because you have so many flowers. You don't really have a lot of weeds, do you?
That's right, I don't.
No, she doesn't. She said, that's right, I don't. Okay, so I went back and I watched it, like I said, because I was going to edit it and put it back up. And when I watched it, I was just like, it was up for like 4 hours. I mean, it didn't have that many views. It had like 300 views on it or something like that. So it was like, but I knew it wasn't going to get tons of views anyway. And I knew that not really anybody would be that surprised, you know? It's not like, let's just be for real, okay? I mean, I don't try to fool myself into thinking like I'm like some highly edited YouTuber. I think we all know by now, like, I'm not like going in and like highly, you know, editing these videos and all this kind of stuff. So the fact that I'm sitting there for like a minute and a half just in total silence, and then all of a sudden I pop up. But if you I don't think you would know, like, if you didn't know the backstory to it, like when I pop up and I just kind of like look at the camera, I think it would just seem like, okay, I found the article. But now that you know it, I would love to know this, Sadie's mom, I would love to know if, like, now that you know the story, like watching it, if you realize that's where I thought I was going to put in the clip, like the edit, like I was going to edit that part out, because you can see I'm sitting there for a sec. It's like before I start a video, I'm like, hey guys, because there's like a second, like 2 seconds before, like, well, not on my vlog, I just hit start, but on my other channels, like, I'll sit here and I'll be like, hey, you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, right? You know, and so, like, now I can't even think of how that intro goes. Hey, you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I share stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I grow into the person that I am today. So before I start it, I'll sit like this, so I make sure that I'm, like, center and whatever, and I'll go, hey, you guys, this is Peter. And so, like, that part right before that where I'm just sitting there, I always clip that off. And then I'll say, okay, you guys, love you, I'll see you tomorrow, bye. And then there's like 2 seconds after. So I clip that. That's the editing that I do on my videos, okay? So, but I don't think it would surprise anybody that I have this minute and a half clip in there where I'm just like sitting there looking at the phone. But there was a part at like, because it's like often I look for, you know, clips in my phone and be like, okay, well, hold on a second, you guys, blah, 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 blah. I mean, my friends that are YouTubers laugh at me. They're like, it is so funny that you sit there and you, like, you don't edit that out. You just like look for shit on your phone, right? Like while you're doing videos. I don't think people really care. I don't think people know not to expect, you know, all that when they come to my videos, right? Do I think it would probably help my videos? Yeah, I think it would greatly help the quality of my videos if I didn't do that, you know? Is it laziness? Purely, truly, it's laziness, you know? It's like why sometimes I'll just like hold up my phone instead of like actually inserting a picture. In my Peter's Movie Club video today, I actually included several pictures. I was very proud of myself. The other thing that people love is when I say, I'll put the picture up here somewhere, and I never include the picture. But I don't do that on purpose. What happens is I get done editing the video, and then I like, because I'm doing so many different videos at the same time, I get done editing the video and then I start rendering, you know, editing the video, and then I start uploading it, and then the video's uploaded, and that whole process is taking like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and by the time it's done, I'm like, oh, I forgot to include that picture. So I need to come like, oh shit, I need to go back and I need to include that picture, but then it's gonna be another 2 hours. I'm like, I think people would just rather get the video up and see the video than have the picture in there, you know? So, but that makes me happy that you got a kick out of that, because I think it's so funny. Oh, she also said, I mean this with no hate, which means you mean it with total hate, right? Okay. But Peter, you are not a master gardener. Use the dang weed cloth. I'm gonna have to go over here and tell my neighbor. She was just doing something. Now she moved her thing into the garage, so I don't know where she is. Okay, Brittany said, okay, this is where I was talking about in the show, the show, my grandma used to always call movie shows. In the movie, the one with Nicolas Cage, left behind the dogs on the side of the street. And I was like, God not taking the animals and dogs. And Brittany said, in Christianity, isn't it believed that animals don't have souls, so they just die, they don't go to heaven? I have no idea. I don't know enough about all that. But I feel like I see a lot of people that I know that are Christian that put up stuff about like the Rainbow Bridge and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know about that. Okay, oh, here's another weed killer. Weed killer in a pump sprayer bottle, Home Depot. Vinegar and salt. Oh, same thing. With a good squirt of Dawn dish soap mix. Well, do on a hot day, and weeds will spend the most time in direct sun. The sun heat kicks off the vinegar, and dish soap makes it stick to the weed. Oh, okay, so we got a deeper explanation of that. All right, well, I'm going to get that stuff and do that. Oh my God, she's walked through 3 times today. Like, just since I've been sitting here, she's been 3 times around the circle. Good for her. Okay. Frugal's Simplest said, "Hi Peter, listening to you at work, so less lonely and a better day. Thanks for..." Aw, hi boo. She said, "Aw, arf, arf," he said. Okay, Jen said, "Peter, Taylor Swift came out with a song called Peter. Have you listened to any of her new album or the diss track to Kim K? Thank you." I don't know anything about the diss track to Kim Kardashian. And then you said, "Love you." I love you too. Okay, so yes, I'm very aware that Taylor Swift came out with a new album last night. I think it was about 12:01. I'm joking when I say that. That I was on Instagram, and literally every Instagram story of every person, animal rescues, everybody that I know started posting that they were listening to Taylor Swift's album. I have not listened to it yet. It's called something, it's like a play on Dead Poets Society. It's called like Poets Academy or something like that. Is that what it's called? I don't know. People be like, "No, it's not. It has nothing to do with Dead Poets Society." It looks like it to me, but I could be wrong. Okay, somebody said, "I think mahogany teak wood is the one that smells like men's cologne." It does smell like. That's not the one that my sponsor uses. It's beach something that she uses. I think I was thinking mahogany teak wood because that's the one my husband likes. I love champagne toast. He loves mahogany teak wood. And I will say mahogany teak wood is not my favorite, but my husband loves it. What was that? She said, "When my daughters worked at Abercrombie, she said it smelled like the scent they use." And it's, oh, Fierce. Abercrombie Fierce. I forgot all about that. Okay. Was it Fierce? Is that what it was called? My husband used to wear that back in the day. Okay, Mick said, "I am surprised you mentioned Kirk Cameron, who has a long history of homophobic statements. Did you know about this? Also, do any of these movies show LGBT people being raptured? I imagine they are not considered to be good enough." Well, okay, first of all, the movie is at best, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 1.5. I mean, it's really a poorly made movie. And yes, I've been fully aware of Kirk Cameron and his history, and I'm not watching the movie for Kirk Cameron or to support or endorse Kirk Cameron. I don't obviously support people that are homophobic, but I'm gonna watch the movie. I don't think he's making much off of me watching a Tubi movie and whatever, and I'm sure somebody out there will be like, "Oh my god, he's a hypocrite, we better put that out there because he's watching this." It's whatever, you know? There are homophobic people everywhere. Would I sit down and have lunch with him, with Kirk Cameron? I mean, you didn't ask that, but would I? I mean, if he wanted to have a conversation about his belief systems and why he felt like I was going to hell and he was homophobic. And no, they do not show any LGBT people being raptured. Of course they wouldn't. The only people they show being raptured, well, they don't really show anybody being raptured, but it's kids and people that, like, are, I mean, the books are Christian propaganda. I mean, like, really, I don't know why I'm interested in these books. Okay, this is the thing. I'm not supporting or endorsing the books by talking, well, maybe I am, by talking about them. I'm not trying to influence anybody to go read them. I'm just telling you, there was a period in my life, I worked in a treatment facility, okay? There were a lot of very Christian people that worked in the treatment facility with me, a lot of religious people, Southern Baptist people, and stuff like that. Somebody handed me those books, just like they handed me Purpose Driven Life, just like they handed me all those books back in the day. Who Moved My Cheese, which was a motivational book. People give you books all the time. Be like, "Oh, you should read this." Somebody gave me the Left Behind book. I went home and I read it, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's a good adventure story." That's why I was saying yesterday that the further you get into the books, they become like almost textbook of whatever. Listen, I don't have an issue with anybody's religiosity. My mother was a woman of very strong faith. What I have an issue with is when people use, and yes, I'm fully aware of Kirk Cameron and his sister and her homophobia as well. I'm very aware of all that. What I have an issue is with when people take their spiritual or religious beliefs and use it to condemn somebody. That's my issue with it. So yes, I do take issue with that. But no, I'm not, like, I think people think because I say I'm a spiritual person, that means like I'm anti-Christian or something. I'm not at all. My mother was a woman of very strong faith, went to church every week, was very involved in her church. I believe that there are a lot of really good Christians out there, just like I think there are a lot of really good Buddhists out there, and I think there's a lot of really good Muslims out there. You know, a lot of people that are Jewish that are really good people, and I think there's a lot of people that are really not good people, and it has nothing to do with their religious beliefs whatsoever, you know? So I think it's really easy to fall into... I think it's really easy to fall into this sentiment. The camera stopped while I was getting into a really serious part. What I was saying was, I don't know where it stopped, because I was looking off into the distance, thinking. I was saying that I think it's really easy, especially being part of the LGBTQI plus community, to fall into this kind of ideology that, well, I'm gay, and Christians don't like gay people, and therefore I'm not going to support Christianity, and I'm going to have like I feel like there's something on my nose. Hold on just a second. Or on my face. Let me pull up the camera. I've got to have my glasses. I feel like it's on my eye, like it's a hair hanging from my eye or something, but make sure it's not my nose or my beard. I trimmed my beard earlier today before we went to the vet. Yeah, I think it's really easy to, you know, like in my youth, when I first came out, if it were like 1 in 10 people that I met that had pretty strong faith would say, like 1 in 10 would say to me, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Or make a point of letting me know that I was going to burn in eternal hell because I was gay and things like that. If it was 1 in 10, it was very easy for me to... having just come out and feeling very empowered as a gay person, to generalize that, right? But in all honesty, what I have found in my 30 plus years of being out now is that bigotry does not always hide behind religion, and bigotry does not always come in the forms of what we think it does. I have met complete atheists that are some of the most bigoted people in the entire world. I have met Christians that are people of very strong faith that have been some of the most loving people towards me ever. And I don't think that has really anything to do with it. And there was a point in my life where I realized I had to start, I don't judge people, you know, but like where I had to start basing what I thought of somebody on their personal experience, on how we interacted and their treatment of me, other than generalizations, if that makes sense. Kirk Cameron has made his belief system very clear, as has his sister, and you know, that's their belief system. I don't hate somebody for their beliefs. They have, you know, one of the things that I think really was hard for me to wrap my head around was when I would have, this is just a very, very real conversation, but okay, I mean, I've dealt with this in my life, right? Like, you don't get to 51 and not deal with some of this shit. I think in your youth, it's easy to be like, I remember my ex-girlfriend in high school, and she came out when she was in college, and she was telling me about something. I remember I was like, I was probably 20 and she was probably 19 at the time, and she was talking about something that they were doing, and they were gonna, some business was, she wasn't part of this, but some business, some organization that she was part of was, she didn't do this, but anyway, some business was like anti-gay, and they were gonna throw these bricks through their windows when they were closed with like, you know, the F word and the D word and stuff on there. And I can remember my initial response was, what is that changing? Like, how are we changing anything by doing that? Like, I don't, like, I've never understood, like, that's not the way that I approach the world, and that may not be, like, a lot of people might not like that, but that's not how I've ever changed anybody's mind. The only way I've ever changed anybody's mind about, that side-eyed me about saying my husband or being married or whatever, or being gay or being out, when they've had opposing feelings about that, or were unsure or uneducated or ignorant about it, or didn't really, you know what to think or whatever. The only way I've ever changed, or they didn't really know gay people, the only way I've ever really changed anybody's opinion towards the positive is for them to get to know me, and for them to see we're really no different than them. I can tell you that in the last couple years, since I've gotten closer with my neighbors, there's a lot of neighbors in this neighborhood. I mean, my neighbors around here are all pretty liberal-minded and things like that, but there's neighbors in this neighborhood that I can tell you it probably wasn't their their first go-to that they were going to hang out at the pool all summer long with some gay guy, you know? And now, I don't even know that a lot of them knew a lot of gay people before me, right? And now, like, they'll walk by, hey, Alex, how are you? How's Boo doing? How's work? You know, and they know Alex and they know me, and they're very welcoming, you know, and super friendly, and, you know, ask us over to their houses and stuff like that. So that's the only way I have ever learned in my life to really change somebody, is to let them get to know me and see who I am as a person, and me get to know them. That's why I'm such a believer in sharing personal experiences and personal stories. I cannot speak on somebody else's personal experience, right? I think one of the ideologies I had to let go of too was, I would meet people in my life that really believed that being gay was a sin. I mean, my friend that I just talked about, the one that I knew from kindergarten and elementary, junior high, high school, college, you know, I mean, I've talked about this before. She started getting very involved in church when I was like in my late 20s, and she talked to me about being gay was a sin. I mean, this was a girl that had birthday parties and had drag queens bring her a birthday cake out on stage, and all her friends were gay. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that one of our friends had taken his life, and she thought it had a lot to do with him being gay, which I don't think it had anything to do with that. And so she turned to church and got very involved, and then wanted to tell me on the phone the levels of sin and how murder was here and gay wasn't far behind it. And I had to distance myself from her for a while, you know? And I'll never forget having this conversation with my mom, who was a woman of very strong faith. And what my mom said to me was, people hide behind religion because they're afraid. And religion gives them, like, a way to understand the world, you know? Did she go inside her house? No, she didn't. She's in the garage working. And I remember my mom saying that to me. I don't know that it really even made any sense to me at that time, but it makes sense to me today. I've met people in my life that are very religious and meet me, and I think going into that, like, I'm really like one of the very first gay people they've ever met, right? I know it sounds strange to say that if you live in some cosmopolitan world, but like in Indiana, where it's very rural in areas and country, it's not surprising that there are still people that I meet that, like, at meetings and things like that, that I'm the first married gay man that they've ever met in their life. Seriously, like, you know? And it doesn't happen often, but it has happened in my life. And that they really do believe that gay people are going to go to hell because it's a sin. Like, they believe that. And then I see them meet me, and they start to talk to me, and it's almost like they don't know what to do with that ideology. It's like they don't know what to do with that, because it's not that they believe that out of hatred. It's because they believe that because that's what they were taught. They were indoctrinated to believe that. And then all of a sudden they have this person standing in front of them, and they think this person is going to hell simply for the fact of who he loves. They get it in that second, right? So what I had to learn to do over time was not judge somebody for their belief systems. But, you know, like, I was talking to a friend of mine about this, about somebody that we know, like a family member. This was a while ago. And I said, I believe that they really believe that. Like they've always treated me with grace. They've always been very nice to me. But I believe that they really believe that gay people are, like, destined to hell. It's a sin and stuff like that. Like, I believe they believe that. Not because they hate me. And they've approached me and been like, whatever, like, I'm like, I don't need that in my life. I don't need change. I don't need people. That's what I don't have an issue. Like, I have an issue with. I have an issue with what people do with it, okay? If you're going to condemn me and my life and my husband and our boring life of being a married couple and raising dogs and whatever, I have an issue with that, you know? I think, like my friend Tanya says, as you get older, the road narrows. What you realize is what other people do with their life if they're not hurting anybody is really none of my fucking business. It really isn't. I mean, I hate to tell anybody out there, if you're watching my vlogs and you watch my vlogs on a regular basis, my guess is that you're probably not somebody that doesn't like gay people. I mean, I just can't imagine why you would watch this if that were the case, right? But one of the things I've never really understood is like why when people have such issues with it, you know? Hey, how are you? When people have such issues with it, I'm like, so your proudest moment on your deathbed, like when we were talking about gay marriage, like, I don't think that my husband and I being married, and this is just my opinion from what I've lived, I don't think that we have ever affected anybody else's marriage or doomed their marriage. I don't think we've ever taken away, just by us existing as a married couple, we've ever taken away anybody's family values. We've ever taken anybody's traditional family values away from them. I don't think we've ever tarnished us. I mean, maybe it tarnishes somebody's ideology of it because they cannot imagine how that exists in the same world that their marriage exists in. So it fucks with their mind and their thinking. But simply by my husband and I being married does not affect anybody else. It just doesn't. Period. In the story. I don't care what anybody says. It just doesn't. When people are like, well, it affects your... No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because we're going to still be together whether we're married or not. It's not going to affect your kids. It's just not. Okay? And... So, you know, and when people take such issue with that, I'm like... You know, when we were like really fighting the good fight for marriage equality, and Alex and I did a lot of work on that, you know, and I can remember like our picture was, you know, in the front of USA Today that Sunday after marriage equality was passed. They asked us, you know, because of like the work that we had done, and that was a proud moment for me, you know. And I can remember like when people say things to me about it, well, like this and that, and I'm like, you know, like, are you going to look back on your life on your deathbed if you have the opportunity to look back on your life and your kids that you had and the moments that you spent with your friends and your family and your marriage and your relationships and your career and all the good work you did, and the one moment you're going to look back on is that you kept two people that loved each other apart from being married? Like, that's your moment they're going to be happy about? Or that you preached to people that they were going to go to hell? Like, that's what makes you happiest in your life? Like, if that's what you need, if that's how you want to spend your life, but that's a life wasted to me. I would not spend my life doing that, you know? So, for me, it's a sad sentiment with that. I do not engage in conversations with people who want to prove anything to me about being gay as a sin, or how, if they just want to have interaction with me, whatever. But if people want to have conversations with me about being gay is a sin, or how being gay is wrong, or I don't deserve these rights, I don't even enter those conversations, because the conversation's already lost before it started. I don't engage in those conversations. I think they're ignorant conversations, if you want to know the truth. Okay? It's 2024. Period. In a story. That's how I feel about it. And we're taking 20 steps back instead of 20 steps forward, which is where we should be. And, you know, I don't know, we could take cues from other countries when it comes to all of that, but it's just, those are ignorant conversations to me. You know? And if anybody is offended by this conversation, you're watching a gay man that's been out for 30 plus years that's married to his husband. So I don't know what to tell you that you would think I would think any other way. It always kind of surprises me when people are like, I'm really surprised you think that way. Like I said in a video one time on my drama channel, I said something and I said, you know, if you are not supportive of the LGBTIA plus community and you do not like gay people, this is probably not the channel for you. And people literally, I mean, like, videos were made about it. People were like, oh my God, Peter said if the people don't support the LGBT, what the fuck? I'm a gay man that's married. You think I'm gonna, why wouldn't I say that? Why would you want to watch somebody, if you were so against that, why would you want to watch it, you know? Is there a possibility that me saying this on video today, I'm going to lose 20 subscribers? So be it. If you think that negatively about the LGBTQI plus community, that you don't think that we deserve rights and that we're going to hell, what the fuck are you doing watching my channel? I mean, that's what I was saying in that video, you know, and people like took such offense to that, you know. It was like, can you believe that Peter said if you don't support gay rights, why would you want to watch? I mean, I wasn't even saying that. I hardly ever say anything like that, but why would you want to watch somebody, you know, like, am I just your funny gay character? I mean, that's offensive in its own. So I don't engage in those conversations. I think it's interesting that somebody asked me that about Kirk Cameron. You know, my first inclination when it came up was kind of like, I don't really want to watch this because, this is the truth, I don't really want to watch this because it's Kirk Cameron. That's the truth. Like, I watched him back in the day on, what was it, Growing Pains or whatever. But I was like, I don't really want to watch this because it's him. And and then I was like, I'm not going to stop that from letting me watch this movie. It's not like he's going to financially benefit off this movie that's on Tubi that came out in 2000. It's not like he's making money off of my watching them, whatever. Would I go to a meet and greet and pay $200 to meet Kirk Cameron and put that money in his pocket? Absolutely 100% not. No. So, but I had to realize, I think through the years, that people have a right to their opinions and their beliefs, even if they don't align with mine. And if somebody, when they're meeting me, isn't trying to be outwardly offensive to me, I don't think you really can explain it to somebody for whatever situation you lived in as an oppressed person, for however you define that for your life. I can only define it for being a gay man, because other than that, that's, the only, as a privileged white person in the United States, as a white man in the United States, that's the only thing that I can relate it to. But until you have somebody come and say something to your face that's so ignorant, you're just kind of like blown away. Like in the moment, like often, like I haven't said anything at all because it's like, I don't know what the fuck to say. Today I'd probably say, you need to back up. Like seriously, like I'm not putting this shit up with, unless I was scared. I mean, one of the things that my mom taught me before I came out, or when I came out to her, was always put safety first. And I've been very aware of that. Like, I'm not going to get my head bashed in, from 5 people with baseball bats because they think gay people should die. And I'm not that person. That's not who I am. And maybe that sounds weak, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm also not going to stand down and not stand up for myself and say things about myself anymore. Those days are over. That we went through the whole stand up for myself era to get to the other side. I'm not going to let people say ignorant stuff to me. But I don't have to make every, I can pick my battles and whatever, But like I was saying, like, what I had to learn along the way is that I think that people get to the point of their belief systems because they're just taught that and they don't really ever question it. And then I think that one of the things I've noticed through the years is when I meet people that have been brought up that way or thought that way, all of a sudden my just existing makes them question that and they don't know what to do with that. I can't hate somebody for that. And so, I have had lots of conversations with people when people have asked me questions in the past. I can remember work environments, like people that I worked with. They didn't even know how to ask the questions. They would ask me questions like, "Are you the batter or the catcher or the pitcher?" They didn't even know how to ask the questions. They asked them so inappropriately because it was so uncomfortable with them. And so I would say to them things like, I can answer those questions for you, but that's not how we answer that. We don't ask those questions. Like, who's the pitcher or the cat? You're sexualizing that question. What is it you really want to know? Well, are there gender roles in a relationship? Does somebody act like the man, somebody acts like the woman? Well, not necessarily, but in some relationships, sure. But that happens in heterosexual relationships as well. Let's get to the root of what you really want to know, And yes, I have more than been willing to educate people on what questions are appropriate and what questions aren't appropriate and how to ask certain questions. I think we've gotten to this point in our society where it's like, it's not my job to educate somebody and whatever, and then we just assume people know about these things. I don't assume that somebody that has never met a gay person in their entire life all of a sudden knows what appropriate questions to ask and how to speak to me. They don't. So I don't have to get all bent out of shape when they say something to me. If they're making a joke and they're putting me down, that's a different story. But if they're asking me a question because they legitimately want to know and they use language that's offensive to me, I can say that's not, we don't use that word, or I don't use that word. That's not a word that I use. Or what are you really asking, things like that. And then, I've had people that have asked very sexual questions and I've said I don't think it's appropriate. I wouldn't ask you what you do with your husband in your bedroom. Why would you think it's appropriate to ask me what I do with my husband in my bedroom? You want to find out about this stuff? Go look it up. Google your porn and get on Google and look on there about gay sex. Do your research. But that's not an appropriate question to ask somebody that you know in real life. That's just not, right? You wouldn't ask your mom or dad that question. You wouldn't ask your brother or sister or your friend that question unless you and your friend have that kind of relationship. So that's not an appropriate question to ask somebody. Sure, I'll tell you about what my coming out process is like and, being married and being in a relationship and how it's not a whole lot different than anybody else and we go grocery shopping and we do this and we do that. But no, I'm not going to go and just explain to you what my intimacy looks like, my physical intimacy. That's nobody's business, right? You know, and I've even gone so far to say, do you really want to know? Like, and people look at me and be like, no. And I'll be like, okay, then that's not the question you're really asking. What is the question you're really asking? Because when people are really asking those questions, I think especially to like men, well, maybe not so much, but I think, you know, like, I think like one thing that really like screws, and we see this a lot more today than we did when I first came out, but I think that one thing that like really screws with people said that don't really interact with a lot of the LGBTQI plus community is when you, and I'm just talking about like gay or lesbian couples, but when you see lesbian couples that are equally, whatever terms we use, feminine, masculine, or whatever, or and with gay male couples the same way, it's like, okay, like in their head, it's like, we have to normalize it to, well, somebody has to be the female presenting role model and the male presenting role model. Like somebody's cooking dinner and somebody's fixing the car. Like it always has to be like that, right? And that's not how it works. That's not even how it works in heterosexual relationships most days, these days, you know? And so, but that's how people make, I don't, but that's how people make sense of it, right? And so like it screws with them. It's like, and then that goes to, well, who's the top and who's the bottom? That's how they translate it, right? Like, oh, because this person's more effeminate, they're a bottom. And then this person's more masculine, so they're a top. And those terms are used in lesbian relationships too. And so then that's how we make sense of it, right? And that's how we do all that. But that's not how it works. And so when people ask those questions, what they're really asking is, who's the husband and who's the wife in the relationship, when there isn't. I mean, we're two husbands in a relationship. But the redefining of all of that is so confusing to some people, they just can't wrap their heads around it. I'll be honest with you. Like, a lot of older people, I think this is why, like, our neighbors love us so much. A lot of, like, older people you would think are, like, really close-minded and bigoted, and I have met those people. But a lot of old people are just kind of like, I think it's like, the older they get, they just don't give a fuck. They're just like, you're two guys that love each other, we get it. Move on next. They don't care. They really don't. They're not asking questions. They don't need to understand it. They get it. Love knows love. Love is love, you know? And they get it. And it's not like they're trying to, like, figure it out and define it. Whatever. I don't think they're losing sleep, you know? I don't know. I think the people that ask the most questions or are the most confused about it are the ones that it messes up with their preconceived idea of how to look at the world. I will say, I haven't gotten a comment like this in a while, but a while ago, I got some emails, a couple of them, from some people. And, hey Lassie, how are you? She can't hear, but her dog is so sweet. I got some emails. This has been a couple years now. And one email was from a woman, and she talked about, like, she was very involved in, very, like, an evangelical church. And her conception was that, like, all gay people are going to hell and whatever. And she had started watching me through beauty influencer drama, and then she had started watching some other channels. I don't really remember which other ones she'd watch, but that she really realized that, like, all kinds of people can exist in this world together, and it really, like, it scared her at first because she really liked me and what she saw, but she couldn't make sense of it in her head because of what she believed, and that over time, like, it really made her change her perspective of what she was taught, and that what she realized was that God wanted her to love all people, is what she had told me, right? And that she was just one of God's people, like everybody that she was supposed to love. And it was such a genuine email of, like, how just watching my videos had changed her opinion, you know? And through the years, I've gotten several emails like that. I've gotten emails from people that have watched my videos that said, I could not love my kid who is gay or trans or whatever, and just by watching your videos, like, you've helped me just by watching my videos and listen, you know, just not because I'm, like, talking about all of that, but just by existing, you know, and saying that, like, I think I was afraid for my child and I couldn't understand this, and, like, you've made me realize that I just see you as a normal person that happens to be gay as well, and so it's really, really helped me, you know. And I've had parents reach out to me that say, to hear somebody your age that's just, you know, sitting in a sweatshirt and a hat, talk about trans people that are murdered every day, and my child came out to me as trans, and I'm so scared for them, and I just distanced myself and didn't want anything to do with them. And now, just by hearing you say that in video and how much it means to you, it's made me realize, you know, that I gotta love my kid. Like, that's powerful, right? Like, that's powerful. I'm not trying to change people's minds or opinions, but, you know, like, those emails have meant so much to me. It really, really have, you know? My opinion's changed a lot from being on YouTube too. I've learned a lot and grown a lot from what people have said to me and things that people have shared with me. I said this wasn't going to be an hour and a half, and look, I'm almost at an hour already. But you know, I've like changed my opinions a lot. And I think like as I've gotten older, what I've realized is I have to base my interactions with each person on each person. I can't generalize people anymore. You know, I can't just say, I think it was real easy for me to say when I was younger, like, all Christians and just push it away. And that's just not my experience. It just is not my experience. Some of the most loveliest, kind people that I have met in my life are really devout Christians that probably shouldn't love me for being gay, but do. And that, to me, is Christ-like, honestly. And, like, you know, like, and whatever. I don't know. It's just... So yeah, so I don't know. I try to base each experience with each person differently, you know. I like I said, I've also met people that are devout Christians that are just the nastiest people that have ever been on earth, and wouldn't even like touch my, you know, shake hands with me or any, I mean, wouldn't even really look at me, you know. Like, I've had that interaction as well, but that's that person. That's not all of them. So. Very important for me. What is this? Why do I feel like this is the vet calling me? Well, I'll get it after this. But yeah. You know, and I can change my mind about that too. I just did a video on my Peterisms channel the other day talking about I can change my mind whenever I want. I can, you know. Tomorrow I might wake up and be like, I'm never going to watch another Kirk Cameron movie as long as I live again, you know. What is going on here? And I think that's like the beauty. I think it's uncomfortable. I said this in my Peterisms video the other day. I think it's uncomfortable for people when we change our minds and our opinions about things. I think that one thing I've learned in my life about all of this is that if I want people to approach me with love and kindness as a gay person and understanding, then I have to, wherever they're coming from, and I know people are like, that's not true, you don't have to. I don't have to, but it makes the world work a little bit easier if I approach them the same way. And we meet on common ground and say, let me share my experience with you and you share your experience with me. I don't have to agree with them. I can get up from the table and say, I don't agree with what you're saying. If they say something offensive to me, I don't have to scream and yell at them. I can say, you're being offensive to me. They can say the same thing to me, right? Like, we can have a conversation about it. I think that's one of the things that I've seen with the whole beginnings of social media. I think it's interesting that my videos are very, very long, you know. I mean, that's why I don't think I can do TikTok for, you know, like, I want to do this thing for my birthday this next year, but I don't know. It's like, how do you limit yourself for a short period of time? I think social media has really played into this whole, you know, stopping of having conversations. It's like, let me throw out my opinion and I better get the most likes. It's like, that's more important than us actually having a conversation. And I feel like with the whole idea of social media, it's almost like we become more close-minded than open-minded about the world, which makes me sad, you know? Okay, let's read another comment on here. Oh, what a nice comment this is. Jenna said, you are my favorite YouTuber ever. My morning always starts off watching your videos while I'm driving my son, who is autistic, to therapy. On days I feel low or even my happiest, you always brighten it up so much more. Love you, Peter. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. Makes me so happy. Linda said, I leave comments lately and YouTube deletes them on other channels I watch too. I don't know why. They're not offensive or anything. Oh well, I haven't deleted a comment on any of my channels in so long, so it's not me. I mean, on any of my channels, I haven't deleted a comment. I can't, it's been months. So, it's not me. I don't know why that's happening. I will say lately, in talking to other people that are YouTubers, several people, they've been saying that, like, people are commenting more and more to them that they're getting unsubscribed from their channels, comments are being deleted, and I'll say to these people, yeah, remember when I used to say that it was a glitch and y'all laughed at me about it? I kind of let go of that years ago, you know? There was probably 2 years where I consistently lost subscribers on all of my channels. I don't think I gained a subscriber in like 2 years. And then there was like 3 months where, I don't know if something happened on YouTube or whatever, but I started gaining subscribers. And then all of a sudden that just kind of stopped. And then it was like I gained 20, lost 40, gained 50. You know, it is what it is today. I'm just grateful for the people that want to watch. The camera stopped. I can't believe I'm at an hour already. And I'm just grateful for the people that want to watch my videos. And I figure people probably find me if they're a subscriber, they're not subscribed. I stopped trying to fight that a long time ago. I had a YouTube manager for a while, and he really looked into it. And he said, it's an IT issue, and it's coming from your page. This was on my drama channel. And he's like, it's when people are going to your page. I don't know. I didn't really understand it. And then he said they were going to fix it. And then he said they couldn't fix it. It was a website problem, and a lot of people were being affected by it. And I just was like, finally, I just was like, it's whatever. It's too much to even worry about. Just let it go. Just let it go. So now, like, people, like, freak out all the time. They're like, you know, people would be like, oh my god, I lost 30 subscribers yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, every time I upload a video, I lose subscribers on all of my channels, on every single one. And I just think that's kind of normal at this point. I'm just glad there's people still around that want to watch my videos, so thank you. And Linda, I notice all your comments, so I just want to say, even if some comments are being deleted, Linda, you've watched me for a long time, and I know that, and I see your comments on most of my channels, so thank you for watching and leaving comments. Okay. Savannah said, the idea of the rapture is insane. My number one gripe with Christianity is their intolerance for other religions. Well, you know, it's interesting that you say that, because I guess maybe it's like mostly the people that, like, my friends that are Christian, the family members that I have and stuff like that, like, I don't really feel like they feel that way. Like, I think, like, what was it, the bumper sticker, coexist? Like, I feel like most of the people that I know believe in that, kind of like world religions can all coexist together. So it was kind of surprising to me when I was watching that movie, especially the one with Nicolas Cage, where it was like they purposely showed that the guy that was Muslim did not get taken in the rapture. I mean, they were really sending the message that only Christians were taken in the rapture. And I was like, I hadn't seen anything like that. It's been a long time. So I was kind of surprised by that, honestly. Hey, Peter, the movie you're describing sounds a little bit like the HBO show The Leftovers. Not sure if you've seen it, but I would highly recommend it. Okay, I feel like I started watching that, or it was some show like that. But I'm going to go in there and look at that. So thank you for that recommendation. Candace said, I watch your vlog every morning while I work. It helps my morning go by, and I look forward to hearing about your day. Oh, thank you, Candace. So what you mean is you're part of the cult. Oh, you're part of the cult? You're part of Peter's cult. Thank you so much. On Pink, we don't wear Wednesdays, and I usually vlog out here on the front porch, and we have to drink coffee and fountain pops if you want to be part of the cult, just so you know. Or what I think they also call, what do they call them? Granny something. Y'all are part of the granny, which is so funny, because, like, there's so many people in their 20s and 30s that watch. I guess 20s and 30s you could be a granny, too, though. The granny, is it the granny, what do they call them? Granny fannies or something? It cracks me up so much when people say that. Listen, if I could start a cult and have people follow me and believe every single thing that I say, and listen to everything that I say and follow everything I say, and I could make money off of it, and I would have a cult of positivity and happiness, and all of us just watch movies and read cozy mysteries, that would be my cult. And we would just wear hoodies and sweatshorts and Birkenstocks. That would be what we would wear for our cult outfit. And then on the weekends, we would binge watch TV shows and read cozy mysteries and hang out with our dogs. If I could have that cult and people could follow it, and I could get hundreds of thousands of people to do that, and they would all, like, just give me money, because that's what cult leaders want, is money. And you guys would just pay me, and then we would all just sit in rooms together with our dogs and drink fountain pops. and drink coffee and take walks together and go to the pool. I would love that cult. I would start that cult tomorrow. So, he's a cult leader. Okay. Aww. Kat said, my mom and I are watching the movie club movies together. Where do we go to discuss them? You can just leave your comments underneath the videos. I didn't really do one for Night of the Comet, but Welcome Home Roxy Carmichael, which is the second one today, I talked about it. So I'm going to start, as I start the videos, talking about that. Stephanie said, I just celebrated 1 year in recovery, got my glow-in-the-dark keychain. Oh, congratulations to you. Happy birthday. I start my certification. Oh, in September. Congratulations. It's amazing. Okay, let me skim through some of these. Okay, Libby said, I definitely filmed a room tour and it snowed that night. I do remember, leaving and, pulling my suitcase out and stuff like that. I remember filming it. Peter and the Hostas. I should start a band called Peter and the Hostas. Oh, I should start my cult. My cult should be called Peter and the Hostas. It's so funny when, people that criticize me will say things like, he doesn't let comments stay up and he deletes comments. So when they so obviously delete comments left and right, and they can't handle it at all when somebody comes, and supports me whatsoever. And then, if anybody says anything, they'll say, well, just believe his lies then. Just believe him. Yeah, that's why I'm going to start a call. I'm going to call it Peter and the Hostas. Believe our lies. Watch movies with us. Drink fountain cokes. The cult starts tomorrow. Drink the Kool-Aid. But in our case, it's not Kool-Aid. It's Diet Pepsi today. I really do miss Diet Dr. Pepper. And that was one of the reasons why I also stopped at the gas station, was to get a case or a 12-pack of Diet Dr. Pepper, because I'm almost out of it. We didn't do Cousin Fun Day this week, but they didn't have any Diet Dr. Pepper cans at the gas station. Okay. Hair Boss said, when you're talking about the movie you may pick for this week, and you were talking to someone about it, and they said it was a sad movie, and someone dies, the first movie I thought about was My Girl, which I haven't seen in so long. If that's not your pick, I may just rewatch it this weekend, although it's a 1990 movie. And that's the one with Macaulay Culkin, right? And he gets stung by a bee or something like that, and the girl, her dad owns a funeral home. I love that movie, but no, that's not it. It's another sad movie. But that's not it. You're close, though. You're close, but it's not that. Christy said, thanks for the vlog. You're welcome, Christy. You're so sweet. Kristen said, mahogany coconut? Maybe. Oh, Stacy said, my youngest needed me in the night, so I'm thankful for the vlog at 4:23 to help me fall back. Oh, you're so sweet. Stacy, you know what? I have to say, Stacy is in the True Crime Book Club, and has been for a long time. Stacy has given me so many recommendations for books, and the books that Stacy recommends, I always love. So Stacy, could you either comment or DM me some recommendations of books you've been reading lately? Because whatever books you read, I always go to and read, and then I love them. And it's I have only a few people in my life. Mel and I, we both love true crime, but then outside of that, well, she likes the misfortune books too now. But outside of that, we don't, and Tanya and I, we like certain books, but then outside of that, we read different stuff. But, Stacy, I have, just maybe 2 people in my life that, we like all the same things. And Stacy, you are definitely one of those people. So I need some book recommendations from you, Stacy. Just to put that out there. Okay, so I can't pronounce this name, but said, I'm in a hotel at the beach and wake up hot. Come to find out our hotel lost power. Oh my god. Lying in bed at 4:15 watching this vlog. Aww. We leave in a few hours, so I might be up for the day. Aw, cheers. Congratulations to watching the vlog at 4:15 in the morning. Somebody asked me what's a trauma narrative, and Sadie's mom responded and said he has full videos on one of his channels discussing. I just forgot which channel. So it's up on my Peter Does Stuff channel talking about the trauma narrative. Trauma narrative is this process that my therapist is doing with me to work through the trauma from the accident. And so it takes you through all these questions, and you ask questions, or he asks questions, and then each question has processing questions off of it. So one of the things that we've processed, I'm just throwing this out there as an example of we went through everything that I remember or don't remember, was told, what happened afterwards, things like that. And then, like, one of the things was, like, triggers today. Like, and I said to him, and I've shared this in here, like, I actually talked about this. I said when people will say things to me like, oh, don't you think enough time has gone by, you should drive, or why are you not driving, or even people saying to me, like, I miss the driving vlogs, which I appreciate, but, like, I've chosen not to drive anymore and things like that. So, you know, that I want people to respect that that's a choice that I've made. And so it's triggering for me because it takes me back to processing all the way through of, like, why. And so we discuss all that, and fear of moving on and what that looks like, and you know, just processing everything that happened with it and the people that were affected by it and all of that. And it's interesting that I got to talk to his mom right in the middle of doing all of that, because it was, I mean, it was literally a God moment. I mean, that it happened in beginning to do that, because I was able to process a lot of that. So that's what you do. You just take the trauma and you, like, work all the way through it. And so yeah. Okay. Oh, Capsha has asked this before. I'm so curious, Peter, if you've ever worn the Guess What chicken butt shirt. I wear it to the pool sometimes. Or use the Solar Cardinal Wind Chime, the red ones. Yes, I have those. And I actually put them on the back patio last year, but this year I think I'm going to put them on the front patio. The problem is we only... Okay, so I have some other wind chimes too. And you got those, I think, from, like... I can't remember where you... The website that comes, like, right in the bag real quick. But if you see, I only have, like, the one hook up there. It's not even showing right now. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, it is. Is it showing? Where's the hook? We point to the hook, and then I can't even see it. There's one hook, and that's where I put Fernalicious. And I don't love to, like, hang a wind chime off of Fernalicious, because the one that I have is, like, this wooden one that somebody gave me years ago. So I'm actually going to put some more hooks out here this summer. The other thing is, like, I was thinking about this the other day, because I was like, I have, like, 3, and yours is one of them that you sent me, and I'm so thankful for it. Thank you so much. It has a little thing at the top that, like, lights them up, and then it's, like, red. And so somebody, so I was going to put hooks out here, but I was thinking the other day when I was thinking about putting the wind chimes out here, I have, like, 3. I have one that somebody gave me, like, years ago, this long wood one. I have one that I bought. I have one, actually, 4. I have one in the kitchen that I just have hanging up against the wall. It's like a metal one. And then I have the one that you gave me. And so I was going to put them out here, and I thought, well, if I film videos out here later and I'm vlogging, like, that's all you're going to hear out here. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll hang them from the tree, because some people have them in the trees and stuff out here. And then I thought we were going to hang them, so I'm thinking I'm going to put them in the back patio. But yeah, I love that. And the Guess What chicken butt shirt I wear to the pool sometime. And actually, somebody also sent me the chicken shirt from Roseanne, and I wear that sometimes to the pool too. So, all right, the battery is flashing at me, so it's about to die. I hope that you guys are having a I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Friday and a fantastic beginning to your weekend. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit, hour and 12 minutes. Oh my God, you guys, the battery completely died. Oh, did I just delete all the vlog? I don't think that I did. I hope I did. An hour and 12 minutes of a vlog. If I delete it, I'm gonna be so pissed. There will be no vlog today if I deleted it. But I back in the day, I used to be able to, like, turn the camera back on for, like, 10 seconds. I'd be like, okay, you guys, I'm leaving, bye, I love you. And so I kept on trying to turn it back on, and it wouldn't go back on. And I was like, I'm gonna have to go inside and get a battery. And I was like, I'm just gonna leave it, and it'll just cut off, and everybody will just know that the battery died. And I was like, no, I have to go and do an outro. What is a vlog without an outro? So I think what is so funny is that I said this is gonna be a shorter vlog, and I know somebody is gonna comment, you probably already have, that you looked at the end and you saw that it was an hour and 12 minutes when I said that. So I said it was going to be a short vlog, and it ended up being very, very long. So tomorrow's will probably be shorter, because I've got a lot of stuff going on during the day tomorrow. And at night, we're going out to dinner tomorrow night. So I don't know how long the vlog will be, or if I'll get a vlog done tomorrow. So maybe it's a little bit. Maybe it's better that I got a longer vlog. Anyway, I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Friday and a fantastic beginning to your weekend. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want, or your week or weekend if you need to. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Like I always say, you might be putting a smile on their face. You might be changing their day for the better. You might be cheering them up, and you might be the only person they hear from today. And so it could be a huge thing for them, right? And also, be kinder to one another, love one another a little bit more, and most importantly, be kinder to yourself and love yourself a little bit more. Because if you're kinder to yourself, then you'll be kinder to others. You'll be kinder to others. And if you're kinder to yourself, then you'll be kinder to others. And if you love yourself more, then you will love others more as well. And let's lead with love today. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.